The afternoon sun beat down relentlessly on the small, cluttered workshop behind our house, casting long, tired shadows across the floorboards. I stood there, wiping sweat and soot from my forehead, staring in utter disbelief and quiet panic at the charred remains of what was supposed to be my grand inheritance. For months, my father and I had spent every spare hour meticulously restoring an old, rare vintage car. A project we poured our savings, our sweat, and countless weekends into. To me, that car wasn't just metal and a roaring engine. It was a pristine status symbol, a physical trophy of our hard work, and the ultimate ticket to proving my worth to the world. I had envisioned driving it down the main avenue, turning heads, and finally feeling like I had made it. Then, a sudden electrical spark the night before turned our masterpiece into a skeleton of twisted steel and ash. As I watched wisps of smoke curl upward from the wreckage, my chest tightened. I felt as though my entire identity had burned down with it. Tears of frustration blurred my vision. All those possessions, all that money and time invested, gone in a matter of minutes. I felt completely empty, as if my happiness had been reduced to ashes right along with the steel. My father walked out of the house, stepping quietly over the debris. He didn't yell. He didn't curse the bad luck. Instead, he calmly walked over to the burnt chassis, placed a soot-stained hand on my shoulder, and smiled gently. "Are you crying over the metal, son?" he asked, his voice steady and warm. "Dad, everything is gone." I choked out, pointing frantically at the ruins. All our hard work, all the money we saved up. It's all reduced to nothing. We have nothing left. My father let out a soft, knowing laugh. He turned me around to face the street, where a small crowd of neighbors, people we had helped over the years, local kids whose bikes we used to fix for free, and friends whose spirits we had lifted during hard times, had gathered by the gate. They weren't there to gawk at the disaster. They were holding tools, water bottles, and warm meals, rushing in not because of what we owned, but because of who we were to them. My father looked back at me and said words that completely rewrote my perspective on life. True wealth isn't parked in a garage, and happiness isn't locked behind polished doors. We didn't build this car to show off. We built it to share the journey. Look at the people standing right here. The car is gone, but the impact we've left in their lives remains untouched. That is the only treasure that fire can never burn. In that quiet, powerful moment, the heavy weight lifting off my chest felt heavier than any loss. I realized I had spent my entire life measuring my worth by possessions, by what I could touch, accumulate, and display. I thought happiness was a destination defined by material success. But watching my father greet our neighbors with a genuine smile, I finally understood the truth. Possessions fade, rust, and turn to ash. But the lives you touch, the kindness you spread, and the lasting impact you leave behind are eternal. From that day on, my definition of wealth changed forever. I stopped chasing things and started investing in moments, memories, and people. Because the greatest treasure you can ever leave behind is the love and inspiration you planted in the hearts of others.